The news media has been notified, and a copy of the agenda has been made available to the public. This meeting is open to the public, and the public is welcome to attend in person. All persons wishing to attend the meeting by virtual means may do so via YouTube Sumter School District Board Meeting and Sumter School District Facebook page. Vision. Sumter School District is committed to educating, empowering, and enriching the lives of all students to reach their full potential. Mission. Sumter is on. Mission. Sumter School District is committed to providing a safe, nurturing, and high-quality educational environment that supports diversity and equips students for local and global success. The board members are yours truly, Barbara Jackson, Area 7, Chairwoman. Dr. J. Frank Baker, Seat 8, Vice Chair. Dr. Darrell McGaney, Area 5, Clerk. Mr. Brian Alston, Area 1. Mrs. Cheryl Ray, Area 2. Mr. Matthew McLeod, Area 3. Dr. John B. Hilton, Area 4. Dr. Gloria Lee, Area 6. Dr. Sean Reagan, Seat 9. Dr. Penelope Martin Knox, in her absence, Superintendent, and Mrs. Amy Hanson, our Administrative Assistant Manager. This meeting is now called to order. Welcome to Sumter High School. I want to again thank Principal Nicholas Pearson and his staff for hosting the second board meeting this week, along with the other events taking place here at the high school for the superintendent search. We really appreciate your effort at going above and beyond to accommodate the board, staff, and members of the community. Are there any objections to the approval of the agenda? Hearing none, the agenda. Per our agenda, the board will now enter into executive session. As a reminder, there is no set time frame for this portion of the meeting. We invite our in-person guests as well as our online viewers to join us again when we return to open session. If you are unable to be with us at that time, we wish you a pleasant and safe week. Trustees, is there a motion to enter into executive session?
Madam Chair, I move that we enter into executive session for personnel matters regarding superintendent search and conducting finalist interviews.
There is a motion and a second that the board enters into executive session for the personnel matters regarding the superintendent search and conducting finalist interviews. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair, I know this has come up before during this search process for our next superintendent, and there has been a lot of community conversation regarding this issue, and I'm asking that my colleague recuse himself from any action or discussion regarding the candidate tonight for the perceived conflict of interest. And I've spoken with legal counsel regarding this, and I've spoken with HR professionals, and at no point in time could they tell me otherwise that there's not a conflict of interest for someone to furnish a letter of recommendation and sit on the interview panel for a candidate where you potentially could be hiring that candidate. And I just think in the spirit of transparency and in a way to gain public trust that my colleague please recuse himself from the discussion and any actions moving forward.
Mr. Alston, the agenda does not have on here anywhere for a motion and.
There's not a motion, it's just a
Okay, well, that I would have to
procedural
put
matter.
on order at this point, and that would be to recuse is an individual person's matter, and if that person deems that they need to recuse themselves, they need to do that at that time, maybe when we go back into, to meet at that time.
Thank you.
So, thank you so much for your concern, and I'm sure that all of us will do the right thing. So thank you. So that being said, trustee, we've already given the motion and we asked for the discussion. Would you vote the conviction? Well, those of you who don't have your computers up, please raise your hand, and those who have a computer, please vote your conviction. Beg your pardon, what did you say? Okay, so that being said, the motion passes and the board is now into executive session. Thank you, and we look forward to. Mr. Will John Roberts, who will provide a presentation on redistricting of the school board areas. He has with him, or they're together, Breeden John, and they are with the South Carolina Senate. Without any further ado, please let's welcome Mr. Will Roberts and Mr. Breeden John.
Good evening. I'm Will Roberts. I'm a cartographer with the South Carolina Senate, and this is Breeden John. He is an attorney with the South Carolina Senate. And we were asked by your local delegation to come to y'all tonight and go over the proposal of the new nine single-member redistricting plan that we've been working on with cooperation from your local delegation. To sort of go over how we got here, in 2017, the school districts, I believe 17 and 2, were consolidated into one school district. At the time, the board was then transferring to a temporary board to go through the transition phase. It was going to be done by the 7 county council districts with 2 at-large districts and a representative, I believe, from Shaw Air Force Base. So currently, right now, we're under that configuration. After, the way the law read was after the release of the 2020 census data, at that point in time, the delegation was to come back and draw a 9 single-member district plan. And that's what we're here to present tonight. To go over the redistricting guidelines that we've used, we've got a handout that sort of goes through the criteria that was used to develop this plan. And Breeden's going to hand this out right now. I would have gone ahead and provided a copy of the maps to you all, but I know, having done this for 3 redistricting cycles, actually 20 years, I know if I would have handed you the map now, you wouldn't have paid attention to anything I said for the next 10 minutes. So I wanted to go over the redistricting criteria before we actually get to the map. So the first thing that we look at as far as redoing the districts and drawing districts is we look at population equality, and we try to make districts as mathematically equal as practical. For Sumter County in 2010, the population came in at 105,556. And so with 9 single-member districts, our target district size is going to be 11,728. So when we actually go through the redistricting process, we're going to come in with a little bit close to that. The courts have allowed some variance in the deviation, allowing a plus or minus 5%, as long as the overall range of the deviation of the plan does not exceed 10% of the deviation. And we'll go over that once we hand out all the documentation. But number one thing we're trying to do is balance out the population of the 9 districts. The second thing that we're doing is we're keeping in mind the 1965 Voting Rights Act. And with that, A redistricting plan must not have either the purpose or the effect of diluting the minority voting strength and must otherwise comply with Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. So that's one thing that we keep in mind during this whole process. Other thing that we look at doing is avoiding racial gerrymandering. While race can be a factor in the redistricting process, it cannot be the predominant factor. And I think when you start taking a look at the map that we've prepared today, you'll see that we really stick to the traditional redistricting principles that I'm about to go over. In addition to those, we also have to make sure that all pieces of the district are contiguous. Can't have a portion of a district out in the Maysville area and another portion of the same district over near Rembert. Everything's got to be compact and in the same geographic area with all pieces touching. The other thing we do is we try to take a look at community interest. And so we'll look at different areas of into the same districts. We also try to constituent consent. Also minimize the splitting of voting precincts. And so in the plan that we've got tonight, there's a few voting precincts that are split, but we try to keep those intact as much as possible. That way on election day, it's not a nightmare for the voter registration office or the election officials running the polls, trying to figure out which ballot combination a person receives. Also, we try to make districts compact, and that's another factor that we look into. But all this information really comes off the 2020 census data that was given out this past year. So at this time, I'll go ahead and pass out the redistricting plans that we have and go over the numbers that we've got for these districts. All right, so everyone should have a copy of the map that's been proposed as well as the statistics sheet in front of you. What I really like to do now is go over the statistics sheet and then explain the numbers and everything that you see on those columns. The first column you're going to see is going to be your district number. Then the second is the population after it's been redrawn. The third is your deviation in terms of people that are high or low of our target district size of 11,728. So if you look at District 1, for example, your third column shows 66. The 11,794 is 66 over the 11,728 that we are trying to get to. Your fourth column is going to be an extremely important one. This is your percent deviation. So it's your deviation in terms of a percentage of the target. So the way we judge a redistricting plan is we take the largest positive, which is going to be District 5 at 5.29%, and our largest negative, which is going to be District 2 at low 4.31%. We add those together, disregarding the algebraic sign, and it gives us a range deviation of 9.6%. So our goal in the redistricting process, or drawing maps, is to get that overall range deviation below 10%. And in this plan, it does that. The next column over that we have from our percent deviation is the Hispanic population. Then we have percent Hispanic. Then we have our non-Hispanic white, our percent non-Hispanic white, our non-Hispanic DOJ black, and our percent non-Hispanic DOJ black. Then we come to what's VAP. This is your voting age population. This is everybody as of the 2020 census that's 18 years old or older in each district. Don't get this confused with registered voters. This is total 18 plus of the total population, not what's registered in the district. Then we come to our percent voting age population, and we've got our Hispanic voting age population, percent Hispanic voting age population, then our non-Hispanic white voting age population, our percentage of that, our non-Hispanic black voting age population, and our percent non-Hispanic black voting age population. Keeping in mind our compliance with Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, there's 4 minority-majority districts under this plan. District 2 has a black voting age population of 57.27%. District 4 has a black voting age population of 57.62%. District 6 is 65.09%, and District 9 at 52.64%. So those are all districts in which we believe an African American could get elected in those districts. Also in this plan, it allows for, I believe, four majority white districts in these plans. That's going to be District 1 at 55.02, District 3 at 53.34, District 6 at 63.91, and District 8 at 60.88. So that's our racial breakdown of the districts through there. And we've also got one district in here, given the demographics of Sumter County, is we've got one that's a 49.29% black voting age population and a 44.04%. So that sort of represents the overall demographics of Sumter County, with 45.67% of Sumter County being your black voting age population and 46.34% being your white voting age population. So that's the racial breakdown of these districts. Once this plan gets put into place, all 9 districts will be up at the November general election. Districts that are going to have 2-year terms are going to be districts 2, 4, 6, and 8. And districts that will carry on a 4-year term from this election date are going to be districts 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. And so this is the plan that we've got in front of you. Our delegation, the Sumter delegation, wanted us to come here tonight and sort of go over this plan. If you have any feedback, please reach out to them. We've got 2 large copies of the map that we're going to leave with you. It's got a lot more detail than what we can get on a 11 by 17 sheet of paper. So if you want to see more individual breakdown as far as the streets, it also has the voting precincts on it. And you can see how the voting precincts were pretty much kept intact, except for a few areas where we had to split it in order to get meet the population requirement of 1 person, 1 vote. And Madam Chairwoman, that's what I've got for tonight. Certainly, I'll try my best to answer any questions you may have. Yes. Yes, you can run it through the delegation, and they'll get in touch with me, or they can get in touch with me, however. Certainly. So your even number districts are going to be the 2-year term. That's districts 2, 4, 6, and 8. Your odd number terms are going to have your odd number districts are going to have the 4-year terms. That's 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Yes, ma'am. Contact your delegation, and they'll get in touch with me.
No, he said the delegation.
Delegation.
Delegation, okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else have a question or questions for Mr. Roberts? Any questions? Any questions tonight? Okay, Mr. Roberts, I'd like to say on behalf of the board, thank you for bringing this to us tonight, and we will definitely, I'm sure, have many questions forthcoming.
Yes,
So thank you, and thank you also, Mr. John, for being an expert at handing things out. We do appreciate, we do appreciate both of you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that being said, and you don't have any questions, we're down now to the closing of the meeting. And I'd like to thank each of you for being here with us this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, may we have your attention, please? Board board members? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to ask that you continue to be safe, and with no further business, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, one and all, for being here this evening. At 8:28, thank you, p.m.